Life, man. It's the longest thing you ever do. It's not short. It's limited. If you look up how many days is 80, 85 years, as I've said, you look up how much is a million, how much is a billion, how many dots does it take to fill up. Even 1 million dots is quite a lot, but we all know if you won $1,000,000, if you're not careful with money, billionaires are different. Okay, but that's neither here nor there for the purpose of this talk. I'm even amazed I have the energy right now. But I figured something out in life. I don't know how exactly, because I used to get so tired. Life used to wear me out. Now it's just a game. It's fun. I like playing these social games and societal. I mean, to a certain extent, if people are harping on me, if they're asking invasive things, yes, I'll retreat. Yes, I can fight back, but what's really the point? It just astounds me how fast I'm adapting, and I'm enjoying life. Regardless, I'm telling you, this year, 2025, these two main women I'm talking to, if they both texted me right now and said, "I just want to be friends," I'd be okay with it. And it astounds me, this is the 1 year I can say that, right? Because we all know you want to go on the journeys you want to go on. And if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. Loose attachment to it, buddy old boy, buddy old gal, whatever you are, right? And before I get lost in the weeds, the muck, the whatever's on the side, okay? I know the cornerstone of suffering, or one of them, is fear of death, right? We all want to live as long as we can, provide as much service. We have to be there for our kids. We don't have to do anything. We didn't have to be born. Why do I have to stay here until I'm 80, 85, 100? Right? I don't want to get too dark. I'm not Black Pill. They don't pay me to do that. I could be Black Pill. I know the sense of it. But as with anything, moderation, right? Alright. I could keep going, but I think that's a good intro. Let me take a short break and come back to you. Oh yeah. Alright, actually this is not my first rodeo. I know not to get caught in the pitfalls of I'm dating or talking to. There was one time I was in high school, I was talking to 3 women and even texting 3 at the same time. I've talked to some women who say, "Oh yeah, I'm texting 10 people right now." What? How is that even possible? And I have my suspicions that one of them I'm talking to gives me short-winded answers. She has to be talking to multiple people. And if it was worth my while, why would I even think about wanting to stay with them? I feel like relationships should be not easy, but manageable and fun. If it's a chore, if it's draining your energy, making your razor in life duller, why are you sticking around? I'm just speaking in broad terms here. I know someday some person is like, "Why are you harping on my life exactly?" I don't know how your life is going. I just know trends and how people and myself function, right? If you're in a situation where it's only getting worse and worse and worse, and everybody has a limit to sanity, energy, and all that. So is it worth it? Even if you're in a safe, secure, stable, quote-unquote, what is stability and safety anyways? Besides illusions, right? I hate to say that. I want there to be stability. I want, once upon a time, you made it in life. Oh my goodness, you're buying a new car, you have a girlfriend, you made it. And then fast forward 6 months, I still had the car, don't get me wrong. But most everything else was gone. Girl gone, job gone. And, it can affect your psyche and your sanity. You see how shallow these things are. You have to lose them to see how fickle they can be. Oh yeah, this is also a good time to talk about identity, right? Identity is fickle and sticky. If the Stanford prison experience has taught us anything. Man, it's been way too long since I've given one of these talks. Regardless if I release this to the public or not. I probably will. Fudge it. I don't care anymore. I really don't. I'm just enjoying life, right? If you lose your fear, again, you don't lose your fear of death completely. Your fear of ridicule, your fears of this and that and all around. But you have to adjust your expectations if you want to live a full, meaningful life. Right? Because a ship is safest at port, but that's not what it's designed to do. And that quote is not from me. Don't look at me like I'm a genius. There's no new ideas under the sun. Maybe I make connections a little bit faster than most people. I can string them together, but that's just, I don't know, something in my mind, going through major trauma, major shifts, and major fluctuations. I don't really care anymore, and yeah, you just have to keep adapting and stay loosely attached and just keep going. Alright, I think I said everything I need to say. Good night. No, I'll be here all week. No. But if you're not having fun in life, no matter how much stability there is, and again, I know I'm more wild. I know I'm different. I know I'll have to wake up to reality one of these days. And I just hate how boring most people are. Right? They talk about the same predictable, and they forget a whole crap ton of times we had this exact conversation before. Oh, no, we didn't. Blah, blah, blah. But, I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else, but there's like different strains of people. Some people are more interesting and open-minded, and I feel like that's for me. And maybe I have met some people who have really wowed me. Not any single women yet. I'm 33. I know this youth is not going to be here forever. This not open-mindedness. I hope that it always stays. This adaptability, energy. So I'm really hitting my stride lately. I don't know what it is exactly. Besides, just, I don't know. You get rest when you get rest, and you stay active when you want to be active. I mean, I took a nap earlier today. Right now it's 9:39 p.m. Maybe I should have said that. Maybe not. Maybe it's TMI. Maybe you want to think I'm in some kind of dungeon at midnight, and yeah, I don't know. No, I'm not that weird and odd, at least yet. What a life I've lived, man. I tell people, it feels like I've lived like 250 years, and it's not over. And this year alone, 2025, in late November 2025, it's felt like it's been 3 or 4 years. I made an Instagram post of all the major things, and at least one person unsubscribed from me, I'm pretty sure. And I started to feel, even though I'm shameless, okay, maybe I'm oversharing. And I deleted it. And only my best buddy liked it. But then again, Instagram is so overstimulating. I don't know why I've been on it so long. I'm taking a hiatus, if not a permanent hiatus, from that shiitake, right? Alright, I might curse from here on out. I don't give a fuck anymore. You just have to adapt. You have to enjoy life. Keep moving. Alright, second break time. Maybe I should say that. Maybe I shouldn't. But, yeah, I'm having fun, man. This life, world. And, you just have to detach from the outcomes. I'm not saying to jump off a bridge and try flying. Unless you want to go paragliding or whatever, those skin suits. That's kind of insane, in my opinion. And people say, oh, yeah, you just need to skydive once and it'll change your life. Is it worth sticking my neck out that much? Then again, I'm the one to talk kayaking on these gator-infested lakes, among other places. Wild rivers, standing on trees. Nothing too insane. You have to risk manage. But, again, you have to live. If you stay in your basement or cellar or the same establishments, talking to the same people and doing the same things and expect something different, what are you doing? Right? Just something to think about. And again, I'm not saying I crossed some kind of finish line. I'm not saying that suffering has left my life. I still suffer. You just have to pick your poison. Pick the type of suffering you want to be in, or should be in, or want to work toward, right? Because again, if you're in a relationship where you're working and toiling, and sure you have pleasures of a certain type, is that going to last forever? Is that worth being a crutch? What if it got 50% worse, 60% worse? Would you still love them, right? Why don't people think about these things, right? And again, I know my sense of identity and relationships is more loose. I'm not saying it'll be like that forever. I don't know. I can't predict the future. I know at least one of the women I'm talking to knows I have a YouTube, but she knows I'm talking, and you could call it playing around. I don't know what it is exactly. Why does everybody assume just because I talk to multiple people that I'm sleeping around? But anyways, assume what you wanna. I don't know. I feel like I'm already I don't know what exactly I am. You tell me. But oh man, another break. Well, that happens. And also you have societal trends. There'll always be sandy benders in society that profits or prefers profit over people, over connections. Where are you seeing bartenders that are sticking their necks out, really connecting with their customers? It's not in their best interest. Their best interest is to push product. So inherently the system is very much sandy bending, even if frustrating, right? And I've thought about it, that it's a fine line sometimes, and I've been there, asking bartenders for life advice, and maybe I shouldn't have. I leave a tip. Yeah, you just have to trust your heart and gut ultimately in life. And this or that, it could be neither, right? And that's just me as a 33-year-old, as a person who has lived. You don't know the means to ends. You don't know if somebody you're dating, it could be a friend that could be your quote-unquote soulmate. I don't even know if fate or soulmates even exist. I feel like some people are more compatible with a lot of people. Some people have nobody. Probably lives on the other side of the globe or something that would be really compatible, that meets their energetic needs, and not needs, but preferences, or I don't know, open-minded. I don't know. Call me nuts. Call me crazy. Call me, you need to medicate that guy. What the hell is wrong with him? He should not be this. I don't know. Oh, man. I'm telling you, interesting life. The more toil you have, the more curses you have, the more hidden blessings you have to realize it. Right? I'm not just talking about like fossil hunting. Because you keep digging and digging, you don't know how close you are to that next treasure. And I feel like even being in a more socially upswing, even though I don't know where it is right now. It might be in hiatus, it might still be up, it might be going down, I don't know. But yeah, you just never know, and you have to enjoy the ride and stay open-minded. Ultimately, that's just me as a human being talking, not even as an intellectual, right? Because people, they burn bridges, they reach and they try to manipulate. What are you afraid of? Why do you need somebody? Why do you have this limited mindset of, this is the only person that'll ever talk to me? If you're interesting enough, if you're working on yourself, you know your stuff, somebody will come along. They'll gravitate toward you. You don't have to set up this dating profile and seem like the perfect catch. Chances are you're not. I'm not perfect. Joe Schmo's not perfect. Sally down the road is not perfect. So we're just living our life and we're doing the best we can, That's all we can do. Why do we fret and toil and worry about some kind of ends that might not even be as heavenly as we think it will be? So why even fret, I hope that makes sense. If not, listen to it again. Really consider what I'm saying. Man, I tell you, as I was alluding to, or said briefly, it does suck that everybody is so oversensitized nowadays. They look at this computer screen. They know social media is not good for them. They know junk food. I'm not going to talk about booze. Booze is way too much of a gray area. At least in my life. Well, moderation as with anything. But especially social media. It's spiritual junk food. Even if we're looking at nice places, we learn stuff. When is the last time you cracked open a book? When is the last time you finished a library book? Not say, this is a great library book, I'm going to read it, just 10 pages a day. And nobody's stopping you from skimming. I mean, it does suck nowadays. People have caught on. They pour money into the marketing in the first few chapters. They know most people, the vast majority, do not finish books, and a lot of books are kind of threadbare, just filler throughout, if not after the first two chapters. It kind of sucks. Non-fiction, at least. I can't talk about fiction. You know, there are some really great fiction books, don't get me wrong. Alright, I'm probably in the back half of this talk. So this is going pretty good. I'm having fun. I hope this helps a lot of people, even just a little bit. I hope we get something from this talk. It's been way too long, as you can tell. I'm just here, bang, 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 you know, but that's life sometimes. We live and we live and we live, and we don't even realize we're losing sight of how fast it's going. It feels like it's going slow and trudging on at a snail's pace. But overall, it can be lightning fast, even if it feels like it's going at a snail's pace. Sometimes when it feels super hellish and unsure and fluctuaty, you know? Is that even a word? Fluctuaty? I hope so. Alright. And again, I'm probably going to get burnt with dating. I'm not sure about the current situation, but I know if I try my hand hard enough, I already know with karaoke, I tried a song way out of my realm of talents. I'm not going to say what, because it's not embarrassing, but you know, I don't know. Could bum me out if I live in the past. You can't live in the past. You can only move toward the future. You can bemoan the past. You can learn from the past. But yeah. It's not that I need variety. I've accelerated and learned things and let go of needing people. I feel like in the past, you know, and I've talked to some people online in live streams, and they're like, man, if I wasn't dating, I would need. Just let go. Just let go of the attachment. Let go of the outcome. Just enjoy it. Ask questions. Listen. Talk a little bit. You know, just the other night, talking to a club doctorate, you know, asking them questions, and just something in me would be freaking out. That was me 10 years ago. But the thing is, everybody's just a person. We're just doing the best we can. Why not have fun while this ride, storm show lasts, right? Whatever you want to call this crazy, full of chemical reactions, fate, chance, chaos, order, all that stuff and more, right? So many people, they're just living dreary lives, and I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm saying you have options. Nobody should feel like they're stuck, right? And yeah, in the past I've felt a little bit stuck, but who hasn't, that are driven by money and by ideals? The biggest prison's in your mind, right? People in cults, it's not that they can't physically leave. There are extreme cases, but it's more so, where are you going to go? What are you going to do if you left? Right? The biggest prison is in your mind. Your own voluntary, you're locking yourself in and throwing away the key. But you don't realize you can just, although there is a lot of fear, there can be at first, there's a leap. There's chance, there's fear, there's worry, but you have to allow it. Don't fight it, but just allow it. And just don't dive off the deep end, but you can try the shallow end, come back, go a little bit deeper, come back, whatever you gotta do. I'm not trying to help people to be liberated. I'm just talking in general because it's fun, right? So yeah. And one thing about being social, man, nowadays, especially in my 30s plus, people are so unpredictable. You can't have rigid expectations about how they should be. I feel like that's just true in general, and I feel like it's going to only get more complex, probably, because you have social media, people working multiple jobs and or longer hours. You have people, and it might make their expectations go up, and it might cause more frustrations. I already know there's more people being single and not opting in with traditional marriage and having kids. And it's okay to opt out of that. There's a lot of people who say, no, society will collapse. We need families and kids, and we need to, why do we need to? Why can't we just let it collapse if it's unsustainable and it costs way too much energy and nobody likes it anyway? Not nobody, but a lot of people are not enjoying themselves. And, you know, people will say, don't knock it until you try it. But I can tell If I tried being in a traditional family, having traditional kids, I'd be as bad as my upbringing, if not worse, because I do not like irrationality. I don't have patience with that. I have patience with my job and the irrational bullshitaki that comes with being on the clock. But then you expect me to just continue that walking on eggshells off the clock? I feel like my dad was the same way. I hate to throw shade, potentially, but we're all just people. We're trying the best we can, We mess up other people. We mess up ourselves. As long as we damage control and don't go off the deep end too much. Again, it seems like I'm rationalizing becoming a father. I know I can't. It's hard enough to own a pet, I bet. That's just a little trinket I had in my hand. It's nothing but a trifle, right? Alright, I'm not going to take any more breaks. This will end when it ends. But overall, this is fun. If nothing else, talking about ending suffering, a lot of it comes from expectations. I need to become happy. I need to settle down. I need to have kids. And if I don't, I'll be in hell. Well, you're already in hell for expecting that. And where is it? Right? Why don't you just do what you want to do? I know I'm kind of being a broken record. I've talked about these things in the journey and to enjoy the journey. I feel like there's another one I did recently, but more forgettable. But yeah, ultimately, to sum it up, or to try to, remotely, that ultimately boils down to, it's getting late at night. I'm trying to boil it down or simmer it down, sum it up, chop it up, throw it in the pan, cook it up, right? I'm starting to get hungry. Nope, not that hungry. So, ultimately, unmet expectations. I'm not saying to be pessimistic and dark to the max. That's not the point. But if we prepare for the best, and not expect worse, but prepare for the worst or prepare for the best, right? Because we can't predict life. We don't know what conditions will be in life. Otherwise, we just invest in the stock market and become a millionaire or billionaire. Not that, people have to work. I get that. I'm not saying working more, working less is the answer. I feel like it's a case-by-case basis. People are different. There's no one rule, one size fits all, obviously, as with having a family, as with anything. Well, yeah, I think I just lost my train of thought a little bit. That happens. I'm having fun. Yeah, man, but if we delude people, if we coerce them, we might have control for a little bit, but they'll figure it out anyway, eventually. And I don't do that. I feel like in the short term, I could be happier if I try to be in control. But, I don't know, it's complicated. I just can't be a jerk like that. And maybe it'll burn me in the long run. But I know I've lived, I've explored, I've had fun with people to a certain degree. And I'd be grasping for straws if I said I need more. And I'm not talking about my luck. I don't want this to get super sad and seem like I'm fishing for pity. I'm not. It doesn't do anything for me. And even if it did, it's just a douche move. So to sum it up, yeah, I'm not going to talk about my life too much. Again, the Matthew principle is real. The rich people get richer, the poor get poorer. In my life, I've been travel rich, or local-ish wise, as you can tell with my videos, and there'll be more of that. There might be less of certain other stuff, or more of it. I can't really even tell at this moment what my norm is with being social. I hope I can keep getting my toes wet, but if I get burnt, there'll be a time for... Again, you can see how much I've progressed, how much I've been confident, how much I've become extroverted. I think you can, I hope. And I know I have to listen. and go with the flow more. I can't just lecture and talk my sense, even if I am making super duper to the max sense. And it's difficult for me, because I noticed about a year ago, people are starting to talk back. They're starting to trust me. For whatever reason, finally in my 30s, right? Are people that lonely and isolating? They're starting to trust crazy people more? Or not crazy, but eccentric, energetic? Maybe. I don't know. People seem to be losing fear and getting looser. Even though some people are getting more uptight. They're getting less trustful of men. I get that. There's a certain sector. But you just have to find your people, I feel like. I feel like somewhere out there is somebody. There is a group, at least. Or some kind of balance. I don't know if I'm meant for monogamy. The wildlife, the wilder parts of life seem to have chosen me. The wilder ecosystems for me to share. I don't know. Life's a garden, dig it. No. I didn't expect to quote Joe Dirt. But sometimes life, it throws things at you. It seems to expect you to give talk like this. Or it seems to want to push you in a certain direction. And you have to go with the flow sometimes, I hope someone here, whether it helped to a major degree, minor degree, who's to say? I don't know. Maybe this was whatever forgettable talk. Maybe it was the best one I ever gave. I don't know. All I know is life goes on until it cannot. Why fret it? And just keep smiling, laughing, staying sane, smiling, even if you have nothing. Because there's been some times I felt like I had next to nothing, and things getting worse. And why get up in the morning? And you just have to realize, if you just keep pushing, keep on the momentum, something will work out eventually, probably. So, I'm not saying to expect the moon. I'm not saying to shoot for the stars. You can if you want. If you want to get burnt, I don't know. You might find it eventually. You might not. May or may not. But, yeah, life in a year that felt impossible to survive is closing. And it's nuts. In a way. Felt like it would never end. But here we are. In essentially the new year. Because I know wherever you draw the line in the sand, the end of 2025 has more in common with the start of 2026 than the beginning of 2025 has with the end of 2025. And that's just my life. Maybe there are exceptions. Maybe not. Alright. I think I had everything I had to say there. I'm not going to round up and just have filler for a minute or two. I think that's about all I have to say. If I keep talking, I might mess it up. So, as I said, as I alluded to, keep smiling, keep laughing, keep being yourself, becoming your best self, smoother, more graceful, whatever you want to become, more wild, more tamed. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. Societally, personally, or otherwise. Just keep smiling, keep thriving. Don't lie to people. Just, yeah, you don't need crutches. You don't need pills unless you absolutely need it, I guess. I don't know. Keep smiling. Keep learning. Learning is a big one. Because nobody will know everything. And with that, I think that's the talk. So thanks for listening. And until next time, buddy old people, stay classy. Alright, that's all about all I have to say about that. Pretty much. Goodbye. Till next time.